good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching this video from. This is Learn with Wanja, and in this channel, we are all about freelancing and optimizing our potentials in the digital space. So, welcome very much. This is our first video on freelancing, and subscribe, like, share. Yes, let's grow this channel and let's continue learning about our potentials and the opportunities that are there in the online space. So, on to the first video of this channel, we are going to be talking about the definition of online work and the myths that surround online work. So welcome. If you want to take a pen and a notebook, you can do so. You can also use your notebook from the phone, or alternatively, you can just listen and we enjoy this lesson together. So when we talk about online work, you find that especially here in Africa, you mention online work and somebody thinks that you're talking about writing, you are talking about content writing, writing essays and journals, doing novels and creative articles. But no, online work is not all about writing. There is a lot you can do. I know there are people who are not talented in that area, or probably because of the nature of what they do, you cannot afford time for doing research and doing articles. That's why I'm saying online work is not all about that. Online work, as you can check from your browser. It's any kind of job that you can do while connected on the internet. Yeah. So as long as you're on a smart device and your internet or on internet connectivity, then that means whatever you'll do in that kind of space and you get an income, that is online work. Was it marketing you were doing using social media? Was it transcription? Was it writing? Was it maybe email marketing? Was it programming? Was it web development, data analysis? Whatever you were doing, but you have been supported by the internet to accomplish that task and even maybe to submit the task. From getting the task, doing the task, submitting the task, you have been supported by internet connectivity. That is what we call online work. So we are done with the definition. So whenever you hear about online work, do not lock your mind within just writing, because the scope is very broad and everybody is well catered for. If you're not talented in, let's say, a certain field, definitely there is another field you can do so well. And before I go on with the myths that we have in the online space, I want to give my story of how I learned about online work and how I came to be a freelancer. So I heard about online work back in campus. I was in campus like 5 years ago, close to 6 now. And I had when I was around second year, I would see my classmates spending lots of time in the library doing research, doing articles, because most of them were doing writing. And I was like, this thing, it looks like it's a bit so much time consuming. It's making somebody deviate from the main focus of being in school. And you could see some would even miss classes. They do not have maybe uh, what do we say? They do not have like a life after whatever they are doing, because it has taken all their time. So when we are meeting for club activities, going for church activities, going for hikes, you would rarely find those people there. And I was like to myself, this thing must be very strenuous. And again, I thought to myself, why should somebody be committed to such an adventure? Yet you want to meet people, you want to explore your talents. Yeah. So I thought to myself, why are these people so much enclosed in their houses? They do not have a fun life. Yeah. And when I saw how they would miss classes, I told myself, with this course I came to do, I cannot afford to miss classes. I do not want to get a pass. Yeah. So that's how I failed to optimize my potential back in campus because I just looked at one side of it. I did not look at the positive side of it. I would hear them saying, "Oh, I paid my fees this semester. I'm able to send money home. I bought this laptop myself." Actually, some of them they hadn't joined school with laptops. But after some time of them doing online work, you find somebody has even a better laptop than the one your parents bought for you. So I still ignored that. I continued with my campus. I finished and graduated. Of course, I passed, and glory to God for that. But out here, I'm telling you, it was not easy. Hey, I completed in 2017, and I was telling myself like I've done computer science and I'm a lady, and I'm sure out there the market is looking for women in IT. So I was so hopeful, and what do we say? Like, do you see something you're so sure about? At some point, I thought the government would come knocking at our doors and saying, we want people from this university, give us ladies who did computer science or IT. That was my mentality. So 2018, I was actively applying for jobs. And the most disheartening thing, hey, when applying for jobs on this side of the continent is experience. You look at the job and you have all the skills they want. You have even surpassed the skills, but they insist we need somebody with an experience of like 2 years, 3 years, or even 1 year. It's a good job, very promising. You'll grow in your career, but look at the experience they want. And that's when I discovered, well, I think I should have been doing something else as I'm waiting for the doors for formal employment to open. So the whole of 2018, I was just there, hoping and hoping that someday I'll get a white collar job, someday doors will open. And that's how 2018 ended. So, and the last quarter of 2018 is when I remembered. Back in campus, I had seen some friends who were doing online work. I have not seen or heard those friends complaining. At some point, I've not even had them looking for jobs. We call it here tamaking. Hey, so I was like, let me start talking to them. And that's how I started talking to them. What do you do? Is it something I can learn? Is it something you can teach me? Is it something I can manage on my own? And so a friend took me through the journey of writing. So personally, I have a passion in writing, so that one hasn't been a trouble for me. Since back in my school days, I had that passion for writing. Yeah. So I was introduced to writing. I was taught how to do good articles, and I started working for that campus mate of mine. And of course, the pay is not as good as when you are having the account yourself. And I continued writing, and I thought to myself, let me take this as an opportunity to learn and not to earn. So I would do articles, I would do my research, present good work, 0% plagiarism. Yeah. So that is how it was at the end of 2018. In 2019, doors started opening, but unfortunately, you will not get a pay that you expect with your course. You will get, yeah. But out there, hey, you go with what the market has to offer. So you have to be humble when you get to a job. So you start as an intern, at some point as a volunteer, you get to an intern, and then you go climbing the ladder. So I discovered if I want like to progress a little bit faster when it comes to income, yes, I want to retain my career because I love my course, but what about my pockets? Yeah. So I wanted something extra. So I continued researching about online work. I discovered platforms that needed zero fees to get into. Like a platform, you just need to register and then you start looking for jobs. A platform like Upwork. And that was like a whole turnaround for me. Yes. Because now I knew I will no longer rely on somebody to get jobs from a platform and then they share with me. I can straight go to a platform, send applications and get my jobs and handle them without somebody who is like an intermediary between me and the clients. And that is how I started my journey in online work. I started sometimes in 2020, and I can tell you that 2 years down the line, actually not 2 years, 3 years down the line, it's not been so easy, but it's worth it. I can say it's a journey worth trying. Yes. If you're able to strike a balance between what you do, if maybe you are in school, you're working, uh, you are a stay-at-home mom, you have your own businesses, you run a shop or whatever you do, you can still find some few hours in your week and dedicate to doing a job online. It really pays. It pays in one, your skills grow, you do not remain constant. Two, you have an income that can supplement whatever whatever that not actually supplementing but complementing whatever you are earning. And if you're not earning, maybe you are under your parents, at least you have lessened their burden because you have some little income for yourself. And with time, I've seen people who have resigned from their jobs and followed online work. They found even their passion there. So what I'm trying to say is that this is a venture you shouldn't ignore, especially this generation. Do not ignore this venture. You have your smartphone, you have a laptop, and nowadays those devices are not as expensive as back in our days. They are not expensive. With a little small investment, you can get a smartphone, even a laptop. So I would advise anyone, whether you have ever thought about online work or not, this is a venture you cannot ignore in this era. Yes. So